Hi everyone. Actually, in my last two videos, in part 1, part 2 and part 3, I have told about India's foreign policy. In the first video, I have tried to say about the foreign policy of our first Prime Minister, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. And in the second video, I have told about the foreign policy of Srimati Indira Gandhi. And in the third place, I have talked about the foreign policy, in short, about P.V. Narasimha Rao and his successor, Dr. Manmohan Singh. And in the fourth part, I am going to tell you about the foreign policy of our current Prime Minister, Narendra Modi. You see, why it is important, why foreign policy is important. Earlier, I have told about the domestic policy of India. Why domestic policy? Domestic policies are made mainly to uplift the socio-economic condition of people, to spread or to to provide welfare, to provide benefits to the people, and to make the standard of life high of any country. But on the other hand, foreign policy is made mainly to protect self-interest, to protect the national interest of a country, mainly. Okay. So, India also is not an exception, and since its independence, India has been adopting the policy of Panchshil and non-alignment. Okay. So, in earlier videos I have told about that, but in this video I am particularly going to tell about the foreign policy of our contemporary or current Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, who came to power in 2014, and still since last 10 plus years he is ruling in India. Okay, ruling means he is holding the chair of Prime Minister, and his charisma and his activities and his performance is really fantastic. It is not that he is the only Prime Minister who is doing all these things, but other Prime Ministers also, earlier Prime Ministers, India has got many, I mean almost all the Prime Ministers were good, almost all the Prime Ministers were sensitive, all Prime Ministers are dedicated, all Prime Ministers were patriotic. Okay, and they tried to develop our country both within India and outside of India according to their capacity, according to their skills, according to their time, and according to the situation, and according to global politics, right. But some exceptional qualities are there definitely in our current Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Narendra Modi is the first Prime Minister who has come from out of Nehru Gandhi family. Okay, but P.V. Narasimha Rao was there, other people were also there, Dr. Manmohan Singh was there, Atal Bihari Vajpayee was there, some others were also there, but he is such a Prime Minister who had never any experience of national politics. Always he worked, I mean, as a Chief Minister in Gujarat. So he is now from a Hindu nationalist party, that is BJP, right. Another thing is that he belongs to RSS. Earlier he did RSS. That is a very disciplined organization who taught their cadres, who taught their soldiers or volunteers to be disciplined, to love motherland, and to work for the development of the country or the people as a whole. And he is Prime Minister Narendra Modi is a completely or thoroughly a devoted person. He is completely a patriotic person. He is completely a person, a true person, a Hindu actually. Basically, he is Hindu. Many majority people in India are Hindu, but he is, during his time, India has seen a different kind of politics. This is what I say. This is many people say that it is a communal politics has started in our West Bengal also. Earlier, nobody saw, nobody watched earlier, any party is talking about religion in the agenda of vote. This is the first time actually we have been watching for last 10 years during the Prime Minister of Modi in Delhi. This type of Hinduism is spreading, maybe to counter Islam or maybe to counter some other minority communities. Okay, that's not my point today. My point today is about discussing India's foreign policy under Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Okay, so actually in this regard I would like to tell you briefly that recently I wrote a book. The name of the book is Viksit Bharat, Challenges and Solutions. So in that book I have mentioned there is one chapter called India's foreign policy. So from that book I am telling that what policies have been taken under Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Why Narendra Modi is to me the best Prime Minister. Why to me Narendra Modi has created a history, created an enigma in the world politics, in the global politics. Now it seems to me that Indian Prime Minister is most popular Prime Minister. Indian Prime Minister is the best Prime Minister. Indian Prime Minister is the most respected Prime Minister. Indian Prime Minister is most lovable Prime Minister, most approachable Prime Minister, most wise Prime Minister, right? So, without any bias, I do not do, I am not a member of, I am not a political person, I am an academician. From my point of, from an independent point of view, I am just saying what I have seen, what I have realized, what I have from my studies. I think that he has brought renaissance in Indian politics, one kind of renaissance, okay, political renaissance or political movement. It is quite new in Indian politics, okay. So I'll not take much of your time. Now let me begin with the foreign policy. Otherwise, yes, let me begin with the foreign policy of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Okay, I am telling that I am this speech will be based on my present book Viksit Bharat, Challenges and Solutions. Okay, so in that part the book will be incomplete if I do not discuss the foreign policy. In the previous in chapter 4 I have discussed about public policy or domestic policies of the government of India, and in this video or in the next part and fifth part I have written about the foreign policy of India. Okay, so my introduction is little bit big. Okay, so let me begin. So a prime minister, many prime ministers come and go, you know, governments come and go, but the basic structure of foreign policy of a country remains the same. When Narendra Modi came to power in 2014, the world was curious to know that would there be any policy shift, foreign policy shift under his leadership? Okay, because people were not aware of his global political view, right? So the curiosity of the people was genuine. Definitely it was genuine because it was the first prime minister who belonged to the Hindu nationalist party and had neither prior experience of foreign office nor he had ever been elected or worked as an MP in India, right? So hence quite naturally many policy strategists and foreign policy experts were confused about the future course of India's foreign policy under his leadership. So in this regard, one SD Pradhan, he wrote a paper where he said that, quote, in July 2014, at an international conference in Vietnam, a group of foreign policy experts from the Western countries desired to know what the nature of India's foreign policy under PM Modi would be. It was a difficult question for him to answer because at that time he could not decide that he was also not aware, no any foreign policy expert or any international expert was expert on international politics was aware what might be the foreign policy of Prime Minister Modi. Okay, so therefore, that Mr. S.D. Pradhan, what did he do? He took the result of the manifesto of BJP. So, on the basis of the manifesto of BJP, he told them that the Indian policy would strive to improve ties with key states to aid economic development and enhance its global standing while bolstering its national security interests, right? Unquote. So, there can be situations when India had to take a wise decision. Recently, India caught between historic ties with its old friend Russia and a bourgeois partnership with the United States. But India deftly navigated relations with great global powers following the invasion of Ukraine while staying true to its position of strategic autonomy. Right. The paradigm shift in India's foreign policy began its journey with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, which encompassed neighborhood first policy. Neighborhood first policy was introduced by our Prime Minister Narendra Modi, right? So, it was embodied by SAARC as well as Look East policy. Look East policy was adopted by P.V. Narasimha Rao, Look East policy, but he began Act East policy. Narendra Modi modified that Look East policy into Act East policy. Okay, so Prime Minister Narendra Modi in his first inauguration invited all the leaders of SAARC countries, right, including Pakistani Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif. He was also invited to his first swearing-in ceremony in New Delhi. So, these ushered in a new era of India's foreign policy under Modi government. In the second swearing-in ceremony, PM Modi invited all the leaders of BIMSTEC. What is BIMSTEC? BIMSTEC nations means Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation. It is a regional group of countries including Bangladesh, India, Myanmar, Thailand, Sri Lanka, Nepal and Bhutan. Okay, so he invited those BIMSTEC country leaders in his second swearing-in ceremony in 2014. Okay, 2024, right. So, India's foreign policy has taken a new turn under PM Modi. Today, the global situation has changed. It was not, today's global politics is not like the politics or global relations which had in the aftermath of the Second World War. Okay, so it has changed. Always, international politics is always volatile, and it is always changing. You cannot say that one situation will be there. Earlier, Roman Empire was leading the world. At thereafter, we can say that Netherlands, they also dominated. Then came the Britishers. Britishers also dominated for many years, and thereafter, after the Second World War, United States of America emerged as the superpower and as the most powerful country in the world. You see, what are the countries who can give takkar to our United States of America? United States of America is such a strong country economically, militarily, technologically and scientifically and infrastructurally and in terms of arms and ammunition. Though all the countries, maybe China, Russia, India, all are Germany, they all are having nuclear powers. Despite that, you combine the figures, Indian economy is almost $4 trillion economy. Japan, how much? China, second position is held by China, $18 trillion, 18 plus 4, how much? 22. And then if you take Germany and Japan, then also, otherwise you can take Russia, it is only 2 point something trillion. So 24, 25, but together with these countries, GDP, total GDP is lesser than the GDP of USA. USA's GDP is now 28.7, almost $29 trillion. So all these three countries together will not be able to overtake or defeat United States of America. So that is why China is trying to emerge in the global arena. They are trying to emerge as the second, they are in the second position. They are trying to overtake USA in terms of research papers. I have seen that if United States of America publishes in scientific journals about 6 lakh, more than 6 lakh research articles, there it is, in terms of China, it is almost, it is lesser than half, and India is less than 1/4. But India's population is 1.44 billion, means 144 crore. Whereas I just saw the total population in the United States of America is 34 crore. So with 34 crore population, they are doing this much, while with 144 crore people, we could not do anything. We could not do, or we could not touch them even. India's economy is $4 trillion, their economy is, you see, 28 trillion. Where we are? You see the difference. Yes, I agree that in the United States of America, there is also difference between earning. There is a gap between the earning of the rich and the poor. There is problem, there is internal problem, there is what I say, still cultural differentiation, there is what I say, hooliganism, there is migration problem, there is unemployment problem, there is health problem, I mean treatment problem, Medicaid and medical assistant, and education is also very costly, because those things are very costly. Housing is also very costly. So daily activity or daily living is very hard for people, and it is the hard working people who can manage to live there. But you see, yeah, definitely they are economically strong, but economically strong, whatever strength you may have, one day there is fall. There, I mean, if you take birth, definitely you have to face the death. This is a hard reality. So you may emerge, you may have been emerged as the topmost economy, or as the largest economy in the world, because you are controlling everything. You are controlling global politics, you are controlling global economy through IMF, through World Bank, you are controlling arms, you are controlling ammunition, you are controlling steel, navy, you are controlling air force, you are controlling military, you are controlling fighter planes, you are controlling everything, you are controlling the global politics. And now it is, but whatever that, I will not go now, I will not discuss now. But I would like to say that within this volatile political situation in the world, whereas you see, Israel has attacked Gaza, and Russia has also attacked Ukraine, a small country. So you see, so India and everywhere in the world there is tension. The political leaders are always tensed. They cannot smile. And you see the policy makers are also always in strain, because always in stress. They are trying to find out the policies, how we can sort out this problem, and how we can overcome this challenge, global challenge. Global leaders are facing challenges one after another, and really it is very difficult for the political leaders to survive, to political leaders to manage, political leaders to make progress. So really it is very difficult, right? So despite all those problems in the global situation, in the global politics, Indian Prime Minister in India is emerging like a phoenix, that I have written in my book. Okay, so Prime Minister, so instead Prime Minister Narendra Modi initiated instead of non-alignment or alignment towards one country, India has adopted the policy of multi-alignment. Now multilateralism has been initiated by India, and India's greatest foreign minister is Jaishankar. What a peak, what a selection of our Prime Minister Narendra Modi. But P.V. Narasimha Rao also selected J.N. Viksit, and always some Pranab Mukherjee was there. But despite that, this S. Jaishankar is one of the best foreign ministers in the world now. Okay, maybe we are still a developing country, but India's foreign policy, India's stature, India's global performance, India's performance in domestic affairs, India's performance in reducing tension, India's performance in business, India's performance in trade, Indian performance in manufacturing. So all these spheres, it has created a history, right? Have you ever seen that when Indian Prime Minister goes to another country, anywhere in the world, what a euphoria of people? You will find that thousands of people throng together just to have a glimpse of our Prime Minister. But have you seen this kind of craziness in the matter of any Prime Minister or President of the world? Whosoever may come in India, maybe Barack Obama, maybe Joe Biden, maybe Donald Trump, he will never find that so many Americans, so many other people are or have thronged in the airport or by the sides of the road to welcome him. No, you will not find. But our Prime Minister, wherever he goes, anywhere in the world, thousands of people have come to see him, have come to touch him. And have you ever seen that any Indian Prime Minister earlier have been respected so much by other Prime Ministers? Even the foreign Prime Ministers have touched the feet, that is Indian culture, touched the feet of our Prime Minister. Why? Only out of respect. It is not that he is a very good looking person, no. It is not that he is a very handsome person, no. It is not he is a very wealthy person, no. It is not that he is a very straight person, no. It is not that he is the person of a very large economy, no. Only because his personality, his way of talking, his way of behavior, his way of interaction, his way of argument. Even, see, Donald Trump also was saying that when Prime Minister Modi is very abusive, and what he does, he does always with his head. He is having a very bargaining capacity. It is a compliment. So both Donald Trump and our Prime Minister Narendra Modi is having a very close friendship, and similarly our Prime Minister is having very close intimacy with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Our Indian Prime Minister is having friendship with UK President Keir Starmer. Yes, I know that these are the Prime Ministers and Presidents in the world who are having close relation. our Prime Minister Barack Obama, our Prime Minister Narendra Modi, during his term when Barack Obama came here in India, he kept his hand over the shoulder of Barack Obama and used to call him as Barack, like a younger brother. It is not he was disrespecting, he was respecting, but with love, with emotion. So this is India. This is India, right? Was there any country in the world who could call him by his name? Nobody dared to say this, but India can, because of his honesty, because of its sincerity, because of its morality, because of its, what I say, spirituality. India is a spiritual country above all, right? Okay, so you see, India's foreign policy is now multilateralism, you can say. Okay, so India's strategic orientations are now guided by the Quad, that is quadrilateral security dialogue. Okay, and in the partnership there are United States of America, Japan, Australia. They are what was doing. They are controlling the Indo-Pacific area. Okay, so the world politics has transformed from bipolarism to multipolarism. And India's foreign minister is Jaishankar, while speaking recently means in 2022 March at the Institute Francis des Relations Internationals IFRI in Paris, he said that profound geopolitical, geo-economic and technological changes have taken place, right? And Manish Taurangabad, he said that that the world politics is always volatile. Yes, it has become more uncertain in recent years. In such a stormy geopolitical situation, India has a very clear and firm objective, that is to set up autonomy, to protect and promote its national interests and exert its supremacy in the global sphere. The Prime Minister is wise enough to comprehend the geopolitics of the world, and at the same time he realizes India's current socio-economic, political and military strengths. He properly hits the iron when the rod is hot, okay, or red, you can say. Manish Taurangabad in a recent article writes that today's India is materially more endowed and overtly more aspirational in the search for its rightful place in the international system at a time when Delhi's military, diplomatic and economic resources provide it more latitude than ever before. Its positions on matters of international concern are watched with more scrutiny. Okay, so you see how India, if I say that, okay, in the next video I will say how India emerged as a global leader. Okay, so please follow my next video. Okay, thank you.